Thank you so much for joining us on the Big Church Read. Hello, my name is Barnuka and I'm an ordinand of the Church of England and I'm currently studying in Cambridge. In this chapter, I invite all of us to join in and sit at a supper table. Now, I'm a firm believer that Jesus absolutely loved food and meals. In Scripture, we see that most of his outreach work was done around a table. And I think this remains central in our lives as well as for the church and its mission. This Lent, I explore what and how we find hope within ourselves and as an Anglican myself, within my own church and the whole of the Anglican Communion. The Anglican Communion is a bit like a supper where someone got the guest list wrong. You're sitting next to a person that you really don't want to sit next to. You're sitting next to someone you deeply disagree with. You're sitting next to someone you might not even want to talk to. Now, this reminded me of another meal around 2,000 years ago. 13 or more people who are totally different sat around a table, and someone in the middle took, blessed, broke, and gave. To fully encounter this Christ and the hope he gives, we need to sit through the whole meal. What might it mean for us to be taken, blessed, broken, and given? For you, for me, for our church, and our whole world. We are all taken. We are blessed, we are broken, and we are given. And that's where we can find hope. Hope is a journey. And so my invitation this Lent is for us to journey through this supper table and to go deeper into these abundantly rich actions. To be taken, to be blessed, to be broken, and to be given. So, will you join me at the supper table?
Why? It's a question I get asked on an all too regular basis by my 6-year-old daughter. But it's not a question we ever really grow up and out of asking. If anything, it's a question that can feel like it just gets bigger and bigger. I don't know what situations, circumstances you might have faced or be facing that might have left you heavy with this question. Whether you're new to faith or have been a Christian all your life, I'm sure there will be things that you can point to, places of pain, suffering, or deep disappointment that have caused you to question the very existence of God, his presence, his love, and his goodness. How do we reconcile the experience of human suffering with the existence of a loving God? Is perhaps one of the most challenging questions our faith will ever wrestle with. The Bible doesn't run from this question, but in fact wrestles with it as much as you and I do. The book of Job, widely thought to be the earliest book of the Bible, and one of the most significant pieces of ancient wisdom literature still in existence, directly confronts this question and the kind of devastating human experiences that can leave us asking it. Job, the archetype of a righteous person, experiences the loss of almost everything he might hold dear. The why question drives the narrative, and the response we read from his 3 friends as they try to rationalize, justify, and make sense of Job's suffering, as we too can often attempt to do. To find purpose in the pain, meaning in the madness, something of an explanation for the seemingly unexplainable. If we're looking for simple answers to these questions, we will be disappointed. The book of Job doesn't offer a pithy, tweetable, catchy answer. And if you're looking for one to explain the things that might have happened or be happening in your own life or in the world that we live in, to bring you a sense of peace or purpose, then you will be left wanting. The why question can consume and disappoint us if it's all we pursue in times of suffering. But if we follow the leading of Job's story, we are forced to consider that maybe the why question, even if answered, wouldn't truly give us what we most need in such times. And so the book of Job invites us into a crucial perspective shift as we begin to notice that what is of most concern in the story is not the tangible things that Job loses, the kind of things that are often the substance of our worries, but rather it is most concerned and most focused on the condition of Job's very soul. We read how Satan is not in fact interested in Job's material circumstances, except for how they affect his relationship with God. Suffering is Satan's tactic for the demise of Job's trust in God. We think the question driving the narrative is, why is Job suffering? But really the question is, after everything Satan has thrown at him, will he still trust God? It is this question that in every season of life, that is the most urgent question we can wrestle with, and is this question that is most connected to our capacity to hope. And it's the question I want to provoke you with today. Will you trust God? Do you know him well enough to trust him? How and where has God been faithful in your life? And how and why can you be confident of his faithfulness in the future? Your simple but steady and growing trust in God can prove to be the most powerful decision you will ever make and the most influential action upon your life.